We're heading to Toronto to visit the ACC. The Scotiabank Arena. This is Rinks Around the League. Let's go. Hey there everyone, welcome back to the Rinks Around the League. I'm your host Jeff Nash, and on this episode, we're off to Toronto, Ontario to visit the Scotiabank Arena, home of the Toronto Maple Leafs of the NHL. Construction of Scotiabank Arena started on March 12, 1997, and it opened on February 19, 1999 at a cost of $265 million. It is owned by Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. The rink was privately financed. Its seating capacity is 18,800. Its scoreboard measures 32 by 18 feet. Scotiabank signed a 20-year deal at a whopping $800 million and is believed to be the highest priced annual building and team sponsorship in North American sports history. Average secondary market ticket pricing ranks them first in the league at $317. Now, a little history about the site. Where Scotiabank currently sits, it was originally a major hub for Canada Post. Now, for American viewers, Canada Post is our federal mailing service. And that building sat there for quite a while until 1993 when Canada Post sold the building to the Toronto Raptors of the NBA. It was sold to the Raptors for $60 million. And while the building was under construction, the Raptors actually played at Rogers Centre, which is the Sky Dome, the baseball stadium just down the road. Now, while the Raptors were demolishing that building and constructing their new home, the Toronto Maple Leafs were actually looking for a new home as their iconic Maple Leaf Gardens was showing its age and it was time to move on. With its prime downtown location and construction already underway, Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment decided to buy the Raptors and the building itself. After the purchase, MLSE added changes to the design of Scotiabank Arena to make it suitable for hockey. This would increase the overall construction cost by $48 million. Eventually, the rink would open and have its first hockey game played on February 20th against the Maple Leafs' arch rivals, the Montreal Canadiens. Since then, some major renovations have added some unique features to the rink. In 2015, they installed a brand new $10 million scoreboard. It's one of two scoreboards in the NHL that actually has an emblem or team logo actually inside the scoreboard. I think it's really cool, and it adds the idea that a scoreboard can be very unique even though they're not the biggest things in the world. Outside, they have Legends Row, which is a really unique sculpture representing a player's bench with historic players on it. It features Toronto legends such as Red Kelly, Wendell Clark, Frank Mahovlich, Johnny Bower, and Matt Sundin. Scotiabank Arena has an impressive collection of banners in the roof as well. They have Maple Leaf legends as well as their collection of Stanley Cup banners. It's history like this that only an Original Six franchise can display. The building is a fairly simple design, lower and upper bowl only separated with one level of luxury seating. They also have unique clubs and other luxury suites on the ends of the rink. And because this rink is right downtown, you're in the middle of the largest city in Canada. It's super close to everything you'd need. Hotel, restaurant, bars, attractions like the CN Tower and Rogers Centre or Sky Dome just down the street. Now, there's lots to like about Scotiabank Arena. I really like its location. It's got prime location right downtown Toronto, and it's super close to anything you would want to do in that city. It's a fairly modern rink. It has a fairly nice concourse. It has a decent team store and all the food and bev options. I think the scoreboard was a well-deserved upgrade inside that rink. It's a very simple but very modern design. It sets it apart from the others in the league. Inside the locker room, they have some throwback jerseys and logos as nods to the past. They also have Maple Leaf Square that acts as kind of a meeting place for fans to watch the game while the team's on the road. They preserved a little bit of the building site's history by preserving one of the sides of the Canada Post building. Now, after all this, is there anything I don't like about the building? A little bit of a disclaimer is I haven't been inside the building for a couple years, so they may have improved on some of these things, but here are some things that I don't like about the building. Toronto Maple Leaf fans, you have a massive following across the country. In fact, you're kind of often dubbed as Canada's team from time to time. And I gotta say, Scotiabank Arena just doesn't live up to the hype of Toronto. Now again, this is totally my opinion, but hear me out. These are some of the things I don't like. First off, the seats. I'm not sure what the idea was behind the seating color, but yellow, red, green or blue or whatever that color the upper bowl is. Was this done for actual zoning of the tickets, like the gold section or red section? Secondly are the banners. Now, I do believe they changed these for the Toronto Centennial celebrations a few years ago, and I like the overall design of the banners themselves, just not the material that they're made out of. I think they're made from the wrong material or just aren't hung right. They look like they're all creased, and they simply have really bad looking folds in them. Again, I love the design of them, but the way they look in photos that I've taken, they look really bad, especially if you're going to put something as intricate as a player's photo or face on them. It kind of messes up their face. It's not a good look. Another thing is the overall vibe in the rink. Now, Toronto always gets the bad rap of having more suits than actual fans in the stands, and that's because of the price of the tickets. And I wasn't too impressed with the overall vibe of the rink. It just kind of fell flat. But the main thing is just the overall look of the building itself. Now, they tried their best to add some unique things, Legends Row, a new scoreboard. They've done their best to add a little bit more character to the rink itself. Now, I'm not exactly sure what I would change or add to the building itself, but I just know that my first experience walking into that bowl, I was just underwhelmed. The hype around the Toronto Maple Leafs is just so high around Canada, and to walk into that bowl just kind of fell flat, as opposed to walking into the Bell Center with the Montreal Canadiens, where you look around and you just have this sense of history inside that building. Now, I know that this building, when it was originally built, was meant to house basketball and not hockey, and maybe this is the main contributing factor to why I feel like this. But for some reason, it just feels like Scotiabank Arena is just this temporary home until the Maple Leafs decide to build a cathedral of their own for the Maple Leafs to move into. And hey, that's just my take on it, but Maple Leaf fans, I'm sure you're gonna let me know your thoughts. But honestly, those who came from the old Maple Leaf Gardens, what are your thoughts? Do you like Scotiabank Arena? Is there anything that you don't like about the rink? Now, despite all these things that I don't like, it has all the amenities that hockey fans want, and it's right smack dab in the middle of Canada's largest city, and you can't beat that. But unfortunately, my personal experience there fell a little bit flat, and it's not a cheap experience. Scotiabank Arena has the most expensive tickets in the league. But Maple Leaf fans, let me know in the comments below what your impressions of that rink are. All right, that does it for this one. On the next episode of Rinks Toronto League, we're heading to the beautiful west coast of Canada to visit Rogers Arena in Vancouver, home of the Vancouver Canucks. As always, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at _theRinks, on Facebook at The Rinks, and on YouTube at Rinks Around the League. Hit subscribe and ring that bell. One memorable moment I had was looking up into the bleachers and seeing Wayne Gretzky, Bobby Orr, and Paul Coffey just shooting the breeze during practice, and just to see those legends just sitting there talking, it was a pretty cool experience.